This week, a man is suspected of torching NYPD vehicles. Plus, an attack in a courthouse leaves several officers injured. And
it feels like you've been robbed, because you have.
The latest scam using artificial intelligence. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. For our first story this week, we begin in Midtown Manhattan. That's where two people were stabbed on a crowded New York City subway train as it was pulling into Grand Central Terminal. Fox 5 obtaining cell phone video of the attack unfolding. That suspect has since been arrested.
The search is on for a suspect after two people are stabbed. This was during rush hour at Grand Central Terminal this morning. Fox 5 obtained an exclusive video of this attack. Let's go out to Fox 5's Arthur Sheehan live at the scene. And Arthur, this all happened on the subway mezzanine at Grand Central.
Well, the video shows it happened actually inside the subway car itself right now. You pointed out police are still looking for the individual who stabbed two subway riders this morning on a crowded 456 Lexington line train. This was, as you also pointed out, in the middle of rush hour. Now, there are some reports out there that the individual in this case has been caught. Our information says otherwise, that he is still being sought. In the meantime, you are looking at cell phone video obtained by Fox 5, which was filmed inside the car as this was happening, and it shows at least two men were involved in the incident. One of them, who was standing on the floor, was stabbing a second man who appears to leap on the bench seats of the train as that assailant appears to jab him multiple times around the midsection of his body. Now, all the while, strap hangers in the video are seen pushing towards the ends of the car, trying to get out of the way of this violence. And once the subway car doors open, they flood out onto the platform of Grand Central Station. Now, this was the 911 call for this came in at 7:20 a.m. This was on the southbound number 5 train that pulled into the station. Police sources are telling us they believe this began as a verbal dispute before escalating into violence. Now, at this point, let's show you the other video. A 28-year-old male has been stabbed in the abdomen. A 32-year-old male has been stabbed in the abdomen and buttocks. We believe that this individual that's seen on the stretcher was the one that you saw in the video jumping up on the bench seats of that subway car. Both that are at a local hospital. We're not going to say which, just to be safe. Again, 3 people were involved in this incident. 2 of them are victims. They are at the hospital. A perp is still on the loose. A police source gives us a description of the person they are looking for. They describe him as a male, black, in his 30s, about 150 pounds, wearing a black jacket, possibly with a hoodie and possibly with a black hat. They say in all the commotion as those doors opened, he also flooded out with everybody, so they're still trying to find him.
We now head to Lower Manhattan, where several New York State court officers were injured in an attack at a courthouse. At least 2 were stabbed or slashed, and 1 suffered broken ribs.
This comes as the union representing court officers is sounding the alarm about staffing issues, saying their members aren't safe. Fox 5's Kendall Green live in Lower Manhattan with that part of the story. Kendall.
Hi, good evening, Steve and Natasha. That targeted attack was caught on camera, but the question at the center of this investigation was how it wasn't prevented. That's at the middle right now, and we can't hear what was said, but we do see within a matter of seconds, the guys stormed through the metal detectors, appears to stab one of those officers on the other side, goes back out and stabs another before he's tackled by other officers inside. One of the men, we're told, was also injured. Now, meanwhile, the Office of Court Administration says this happened within just a couple of days following the launch of their advocacy campaign addressing severe safety concerns. Now, in their statement to Fox 5, they shared, quote, "The OCA was in Brooklyn draining more personnel resources, while in Manhattan Criminal Court, 2 court officers were stabbed, with 1 officer sustaining serious wounds to his face and neck. What will it take," they questioned, "for court leaders to take the appropriate actions to secure these facilities?" Now, for context, this court building alone gets a lot of high-profile cases, including President Trump's criminal trial. And just 1 day before this stabbing, union members reported staffing plummeting to bleak levels to the New York Post. Now, 35% of posts they reported are unfilled, and within the last decade, applications have dropped from 110,000 to just 28,000, representing a more than 70% decline.
Today is a prime example for them to now put into place some of the solutions we've offered, some of their own solutions, and make sure that these facilities are operating safely. If we don't feel safe in the courthouse, how is the public supposed to feel safe?
Now, a spokesperson from the New York State Unified Court System says they've graduated about 620 graduates, officers, to address this staffing. They sent us a statement in part saying, quote, uniformed supervisors are constantly reviewing staffing levels in all of our courthouses and where appropriate and permissible under civil service laws and rules, adjusting staffing levels. So that was their response to it.
Over in Bushwick, police have identified the man suspected of torching several NYPD vehicles last week.
It comes as another police van was set on fire in a nearby neighborhood, but police say it's too soon to link both of those attacks. Briella Tomasetti is in Bushwick. What's going on?
Yeah, Rosanna and Kurt, good morning. Investigators tracked that suspect for about 40 minutes prior to the first incident that happened last week, following him on foot, watching him get onto the subway and traveling between Brooklyn and Manhattan. They also say he is connected to a recent protest at Columbia University where a statue was vandalized with red paint. That happened in September, but take a look at your screens right now because this is the man police are looking for. His name is 21-year-old Jackie Lodgden McCrae. According to the NYPD, he torched 11 department vehicles back on June 12th, parked at a lot on DeKalb Avenue here in Bushwick. Authorities allege that McCrae placed fire starters on the windshields, hoods, and tires on detonated explosives were also found on the scene. The vehicle sustained $500,000 in damage, and it'll cost the city more than $800,000 more to replace them. McCrae was tracked on surveillance video and allegedly changed his clothes several times. Police believe right now that he acted alone. In one case, he was seen entering a bodega with a gray hoodie, face mask, and dark-colored pants and shoes. Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny says he's no stranger to the NYPD either.
He has 2 prior arrests in New York City, both of them being protest-related for resisting arrest. One in the 1st precinct in Manhattan, one in the 114 precinct in Queens. And he's also wanted for a criminal mischief incident in Columbia University back in September, where he disguised himself as a student and caused over $1,000 of damage to a statue on the campus.
Yesterday morning, another NYPD van was found burnt on Union Avenue in Williamsburg, not too far from here. The vehicle was assigned to a transit district, and police believe it was ignited in a similar manner. But officials say it is too soon to tell whether both of those fires are connected. McCrae's last known address was in Maplewood Township, New Jersey. Nobody was injured in that June 12th incident or in yesterday's incident either, which is at least some good news.
We now return to Lower Manhattan, where a juror's vertigo diagnosis ended another day of the sex trafficking and racketeering trial for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs before it even began.
All right, Fox 5's Lisa Evers, of course, has been following all the ins and outs of the trial. She is here with us. So what exactly happened today? Yet another development here.
Everybody's in court. You know, it's a little after 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's in court, ready to get going. The judge announces that a juror called in sick with vertigo. So that raised a lot of questions. People are like, wait a minute, what? And that the testimony for today was canceled and that it will resume on Friday morning, not tomorrow, because tomorrow is Thursday is the Juneteenth holiday, federal holiday.
Yeah. And then what happens Friday? It's a half day?
And then Friday is a half day because one of the jurors, which she had said early on in the jury selection process, we heard it in the court then, it's her son's graduation. So the judge said, oh, that's no reason for you not to be in the jury. We will accommodate you as a mother to go to your son's graduation. But this is a lot of jury drama all in a short period of time. Remember, last week we had the one juror who was dismissed.
Off,
conflicting ideas about his address. Another juror is still under scrutiny for allegedly talking about the case with outside people. And then now this. Now, the defense wanted the trial to continue with an alternate, but the judge said it appears to be a one-day situation. After a day of rest, the juror should be able to resume. So we'll see what happens Friday morning.
Is there any indication that Diddy's going to take the stand himself?
Natasha, this is the million-dollar question. Everybody's asking it. Everybody's asking me it down there. And it looks like a big no. The defense has expressed that they think their section of the trial, their part of the case, will take about 2 to 5 days. And so if Diddy were to be on the stand, most of the legal experts I spoke with said that they expect that would take much longer because there would be a lot of questions for him. He's just too exposed, and also his own defense team said he's known to have a hot temper. Not a good thing when you're on the witness stand.
It seems like these high-profile defendants always act like they're going to take the stand. They want to take the stand, then it will never wind up taking the stand. All right, so the latest timeline before today was that the prosecution was going to wrap on Friday, then we're going to get to the defense's version of things next week. Obviously, that's all been pushed back now.
It totally has been pushed back, and on Friday, the last or next to the last prosecution witness is this man, Brendan Paul, former Syracuse University basketball player, former Diddy assistant, who's the alleged drug mule that we all saw with him in Miami on the day of the raid in March of 2024. So that'll be Friday and Monday, possibly. Prosecution probably wraps up at the earliest late Monday night or Tuesday. We'll see. And then comes a defense case.
Yeah, so 2 to 5 days maybe for that. So it looks like now this is going into the July 4th
the week going into the 4th of July, which of course, and you can't rush the jury. And also the judge has to be careful too, because he can't keep saying we want to be done by the 4th of July, because whether you like Diddy or don't like him or think he's guilty or think he's not guilty, he deserves a fair trial and not according to somebody else's schedule. He's looking at the possibility of life behind bars.
Yeah, difficult situation, no doubt. The judge is going to play it straight.
And finally, we end this week with a warning about the latest financial aid scam that uses artificial intelligence to steal millions of dollars.
To pose as college students and then stealing millions of dollars in financial aid.
All right, Fox 5's Jody Goldberg explains how these so-called ghost students are hijacking the system.
It's the latest student aid scam. Frauds faking their way through financial aid.
AI is used to set up a fake account to apply for school and then also applying for the financial aid.
They're hiding behind the computer as ghost students, according to college financial aid consultant Daniel Bod.
They use personal information through the dark web from other people's information that they've stolen, like real students' information, as their own to sign up at other schools. And these students only really find out when they see on their credit report that they have a loan out in their name.
And the scam is targeting victims like Brittany Nelson, a mother of 2 from Shreveport, Louisiana, who never even went to college.
I looked at my phone and I was like, oh my gosh, did I forget to pay a bill or something? Like, what's going on here?
Nelson's credit score dropped 27 points after 2 loans were taken out in her name.
It feels like you've been robbed, because you have.
Bod says close to 1 million people in the tri-state rely on financial aid for college, and these types of scams are becoming more widespread.
In California, there's about upwards of 37% of fake applications.
Now, to stop scammers, the U.S. Department of Education will require schools to verify the identity of first-time FAFSA filers this summer, with a more permanent process expected to roll out this fall.
I feel like that is just so unfair to a lot of students who are in need of financial aid.
Haley Hilty is one of those recipients. The Long Islander says the process shouldn't be so simple.
It makes sense that it's so easy to scam these people. I mean, really, all you need is, like I said, a social security number.
It's probably not going to end with student financial aid. It's probably going to go on to other things, car loans, mortgages.
As for Nelson, she got her money back, but she's speaking out to make others aware.
It's pretty evil, and it's just wrong.
That's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.